give me the.
Oh, I have a couple of
Now, I am going to get in that isosceles stance, and I'm going to lean in at the hips, and this is how I was taught to mitigate full auto recoil in the Marine Corps. All right, from there, I'm just going to fire 5 rounds, staring at that target. You guys see, I missed that third round, and what did my body do as soon as I fired that third shot? Completely fall out of bounds. Now I'm going to shoot in the Weaver stance, and I want you guys to watch the rifle and the path in which it's going to take. See that X-axis movement, horizontal deviation. If we ask ourselves, how much horizontal deviation do you have on my below average size man body? Not much. You better be running up and down. All right? So, isosceles Weaver, fuck them. Now we're moving into a stance that's natural, an athletic ability, athletic stance, whatever you want to call it. Offsetting my feet so that I have balance, I can absorb and mitigate force, whether that's environmental force or recoil impulse felt from this rifle. I'm now going to stay 5'6" and not shrink to 5'1" or 4'11" to shoot somebody. I'm just going to drive this rifle straight up and drive my posture forward. You guys see the articulation from the hips. I'm standing tall, my chest is not moving, my neck is not moving, my head position's not moving. I drive forward and now I fire those rounds. Now watch the difference, because I've almost got this rear leg locked out. I've squared my hips and I've loaded a lot up on this leg. Why? If this leg is loaded, my posture is forward, where is the weight distributed? Up on the balls of my feet on both legs. All right, so now watch the recoil impulse. Now it doesn't move. I don't move. I'm not getting pushed over. Now I could come up, and now I'm not getting moved at all, right? So that's very important that we have a base that's not going to shift. It's going to be sustainable for the recoil impulse to the weapon you're running, and it's not going to sacrifice mobility. It's also not going to sacrifice my adaptability and versatility to the environment I might be operating in. This shit, getting stopped in that stuff, takes some time to collect dope on, data on previous engagement or experience. The other things that you guys might be operating in your environments, my law enforcement officers, think of the terrains that you associate with daily. It's constantly getting associated with different terrains. Might be tile floors, might be grass, might be asphalt, concrete, carpet. Think about those things, collect data on it. How long does it take me to stop when I'm going from A to B and I enter that school for an active shooter, and how long is it going to get me, take to get me stopped? How do I get stopped? How do I find those multiple contact reference points in order to find and gauge my balance, find a speed of control, and gauge when I can plant and drive up, all right? And get that good hasty stance. And if he has engaged posture, the gun is not going to deviate because he's given that path of least resistance, this big old chicken wing out here. Right? It's not a trick. I'm gonna now resist him. He's gonna push my elbows out, right? I'm up, elbow out, and notice I can't do it. He's taking me off my feet. Elbow down and in, take me off my feet. Keep going. Any day now, right? I'm much stronger with this in line, lock in. So don't run those chicken wings out, run them in line, lock them in. Everything runs in line like a bridge structure in the path of motion, path of energy. Bring it all in, not out. 2 rounds. 3 rounds, 4, 5, and you guys are seeing that now we have good vertical deviation. Now I don't want that laser to move at all. How do we shut that off? How do we get that to work? You actually have to have a technique implemented that is actually going to mitigate for it. Now I want to see, this is my reticle, my laser's about over here, this is parallel 0. I'm going to fire, and when I fire, I don't want my reticle, and definitely not the laser, to pass this point. So now I want to delete recoil, not let my muzzle rise nearly as much. Firing again. And you guys now see the difference. That dot, the laser, my reticle, the laser is not moving. And as long as I can keep it nice and flat, that's 3 slow fire. Now let's do 3 fast fire. So I come back up. I got the technique built. 1, 2, 3. Come back up. 1, 2, 3. With my non-dominant side grip, right? Just featuring my, are you right-handed?
Yes.
His strongest arm, my strongest arm. I'm going to squeeze as hard as I fucking can. You guys heard those cracks, right? Pretty proud of that. How old are you?
49.
I'm just messing with you. All right. So I squeeze as hard as I can. Take it up to the sky. Take it down to the floor. And notice the pressure isn't changing. But yeah, you're able to just rise and fall, right? So the technique that I'm gonna do is now gonna imply leverage, right? Thank God for a bunch of mixed martial arts, you know, BJJ, a bunch of Brazilians come to America to teach us how to leverage our opponents. Now I need to high leverage and low leverage. What's the highest point on this hand? Lowest point on this hand. All right, take these 3 amigos and pull them back. And that's going to now drive the medius portion of my hand and my thumb forward, locking out the wrist. The wrist is an articulating joint until you give it a task and shut that articulation off. Run that thumb high. If the elbow is out, the articulation occurs where? So run it down. Now it's all one joint. It does not articulate, it rises and falls. So same thing here. Now I'm going to take these 3 fingers, push or pull in as this thumb is now pushing forward. Take it up to sky. Floor. No, now floor. All right, sky, floor. You see a huge difference, right? No longer is he able to just manhandle me. And is my stance gonna mitigate for all that? Standing like this? That's my target. My stance being over here, is that gonna mitigate for anything? No. So when I square myself up to it, now we do this technique, pushing and pulling, take it up to the sky, floor. And he can drag me, but he's not getting away, right? He can all he wants. I have leverage over his hand, the object in which I'm looking to control, and I'm not relying on strength. So technique over strength. Technique has to be a solution to be a technique. This is a solution to delete recoil from the front end of your gun.
We're not gonna kill you, Brian.